Funcom sent me on a spice-filled ride through the dunes of Arrakis, and this is my adventure across those dunes. What's up everybody, my name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. So this is not a sponsored video. I was invited to check out Dune in a limited preview and share my experience with you ahead of release. And you can have this experience too. Stick around to the end of the video and I'll explain how you can play Dune Awakening and come play it with me. Now this will be a spoiler-free video, so you don't have to worry about me spoiling the story for you. And there's a lot more to Dune Awakening than what I actually had access to in this preview. Now without further ado, let's crash land on Arrakis. After playing through the tutorial, we crash land on Arrakis for a second time. Yes, 2 crashes in a mere matter of moments. And we're not alone on Arrakis. As you can see, we have the Sandworm eating our ornithopter, and now our only means of transportation is our legs, our own 2 feet, and I am bummed out about that. But that's okay, because I have a plan, and that plan involves doing something stupid and trying to show the Sandworm who's boss. If anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be me. I'm either gonna force a Whack moment, or I'm gonna force that Sandworm to let me ride it. Now for those of you that want to follow in my footsteps, the most important thing in calling the Sandworm is to make as much noise as possible in the sand where you know they are. You can see the meter there on the screen. That's letting you know that the Sandworm is stirring up and getting ready to come out. The greater the wavelengths, the better the job you're doing. It will also change colors from yellow to orange and then finally red when the Sandworm is about to appear. So that is your indicator, and you can see right there it's red. He has popped out of the sand. He's showing off. There he is. Who's going to win, Whack or the Sandworm? We're gonna find out right here. So we're just gonna head straight at him, and where'd he go? He's under the sand. He's gone. What is going on? Oh, there he is. He's charging! Look out! Watch out! Oh, that's right. You can't get me. So, there are sections for the Sandworm that are underneath the mesh, and I just happen to be in an area that actually exploited this factor. And it's funny to look at the Sandworm and think how sad he actually looks as he turns around and leaves because he couldn't get me in that location. So good seeing him run away. We have 1 Whack, 0 Sandworm. We are currently winning this battle. Let's see if we can run back into that section and get him to attack again. It's still red on the screen, so he is definitely after us. He definitely wants to eat us. There he is again. We're just gonna... Wait. Did we just exploit that line again? Look at how sad he looks. How is it that Funcom did such a good job of making him look sad when he actually doesn't get to eat you? Now, for those of you that are wondering, I know I'm making light of it, but this is actually a very terrifying experience. However, I do want to get on the back of this Sandworm. I'm gonna be the first to do it. I may be the only to ever do it, but I am going to ride this Sandworm. There it is. My life is complete. I've ridden the Sandworm. So good, so much fun. He's still out here. I don't want to leave. I'm just really enjoying. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. I still think we can call this a win with Whack at 2 and Sandworm at 1. And I rode the Sandworm, so I should get some bonus points for that. You guys let me know in the comments section below. Let's see what else we can get into on Arrakis. Alright, so here we are in the Nude, exactly how every survival game should be started. I should probably point out at this point in time that if you die to the Sandworm, you lose everything. So it doesn't matter what you have in your inventory, what you're wearing, what you may be riding or building at that point in time, it will be gone. The Sandworm takes it all. On the bright side, it is nighttime, so I don't have to worry about getting sunburnt right now, although my character could use a tan. Hope it's not pumpkin. After completing my very own made journey step, the Dune King Whack, where I was to taunt a sandworm and then ride a sandworm, I decided it was time to actually get real and start playing the game. I followed along the journey steps until I reached the shelter and shields. This is where building comes into play. So I built a base, and then I built another base, and yet another base. What I can say about building is it's perfectly fine. I don't have any major complaints about it. It seems like it's well balanced and a lot of fun, and if you know me, I don't really enjoy building a lot in video games, but I did knock out 3 bases while I was playing in this preview. So if that tells you anything about building, you should have an enjoyable time building bases in Dune Awakening. If you're wondering about the decay system and how that works for other players, if your base decays like this one, this is actually my old base and I had remade my character, I can actually just go in and whatever's left I can claim with a brand new subfief. So if you can get to a decaying base before the sandstorm rips it apart, you can just place your subfief and claim whatever's actually still there. And it's super easy to repair in the game. Just go to repair with your construction tool and just start pointing and clicking at all those pieces. Some of the other things that were exciting that I got into while I was in this preview, one of those are these crash ships. So these just happen at random and you can actually get some really good loot out of them. You do have to be careful though, because there is a worm that will come. Yes, that's a very tiny mouse on my screen. No, I'm not going to shoot the very tiny mouse. That's just rude. That's mean. That's cruel. We're going to let it live. Okay, if I'm being completely honest, I did kind of think about running it over right there. But you do have to be very careful when you're going out after these ships because it is always going to be in the open desert, and that means that the sandworm can come and eat you, and you're about to witness the sandworm eating the entire ship. Look at this guy, just comes along and yoink, it is gone. What a munch. Good job, sandworm. We need to feed him some more stuff. Let's see what we can feed him. Remember my old base? Yep, this is it. It is decaying for probably the 3rd or 4th time. I have gone through a bunch of character deletions during the making of this video. But that's not what's important about being down here. Remember that worm that we harassed at the beginning of the video? Let's see if we can feed him something. There's more than just worms and sand and sun and general enemies to challenge your survival on Arrakis. There's also these ships that are filled with Sardaukar soldiers. When they spot you, they will stick you in place and they're going to drop enemy NPCs right on your head. I'm going to try to feed these NPCs to the sandworm. Let's see how it goes. Now, most of the time in this situation, if you're crossing the open desert, this is going to be a death sentence. But since I stayed on my bike and I'm able to get away, they aren't tracking me anymore. They've actually moved on and they're looking for something else. But what about their buddies that they dropped off? Let's go have a quick peek and see what they're doing. I'm really interested to see how the NPCs and the AI handles being on the open sand. There they are right there. Oh, they are so still. They don't want to move a muscle because they know the worm is down there. However, I don't mind. It's one of those things that I'd love to get into. Where is the worm? There he is right there. Let's make sure this worm is attracted to these guys. We are going to make him move around. Look at him start running. That's right. Here we go. I think this is the best way to pay back the worm for being such a good sport early on. We're going to feed him a meal of 4 NPCs. Come on, buddy. You know you could do it. There he is. He's popping out. He's going across the desert. Yes, this is so good. And munch! He has eaten all of them. Yes, let's. Oh, dude, he actually ate the NPCs. We're gonna have to drive back out there. We're gonna give it a second. We're gonna drive back out there and see if they're actually gone. Oh, he's going for a second bite. Come on, and munch. Did he leave one out there or what happened? I don't know why he went through it twice, but this is so cool. Do we have a 3rd or a 4th? There was 4 enemies. Maybe he'll go again. Oh, he's coming up for another chomp. Is that the third enemy down? I mean, he is hungry hippo right now. I think he's very happy with me. Very happy. He's dancing all around like he's not supposed to. Do we have one more chomp? Fourth enemy? And one more chomp. There it is. Chomp. He has just munched 4 NPCs. This is so cool. Okay, I don't want to run out there right away, but I do want to go out and see if those NPCs are actually gone or if they're still there. That is so amazing. I am super happy that this actually worked and I got to come back and repay the Sandworm for being such a great sport early on and letting me terrorize and taunt it. And he has eaten 4, count them, 4 NPCs off the map. I don't think he's hungry anymore, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna be my buddy forever. Now, it's probably pretty obvious that I built a bike, I rode a bike with a friend, and then I had to repair the bike. But there are other things that I did that were a lot of fun on these bikes. One of which was creating a ramp underneath the base that we continued to jump over like we were putting on some kind of amazing motocross show for, I guess, maybe the Sandworm, maybe each other. I don't know for sure, but the inner child definitely came out. Now, the sand bikes are definitely an important part of getting around the map and having a mode of transportation, even when you feel like the sand bike is riding you. But it's not without its flaws, and as you can see, there are still bugs that need to be sorted out. One of my favorite pastimes though was to climb up as high as I possibly could, place down my bike, and then literally yeet it right over the edge. This is something that I absolutely enjoy doing because there is 0 fall damage and 0 damage to your bike when you land. It actually goes super fast going down and it is amazingly fun. Honestly, I hope they never take this out of the game because it really is just super satisfying to yeet yourself off of something high and not take any fall damage. Now let's dive right into combat. All combat in Dune Awakening is going to feel similar because you have 2 different weapons. You have a bladed weapon and then you have a ranged weapon. These ranged weapons can vary from pistols to shotguns to rifles, even up to sniper rifles from what I can see in the research tree. So because we only have 2 different weapon types, all combat is going to feel similar. The change or the difference is going to come into play with the skills that you have from your class. For example, the Swordmaster has a flying knee charge that just about disseminates anybody early on, and then later on in game or versus more difficult enemies, it can be used to create stagger on that enemy and give you an opening for damage. Mentant, on the other hand, has this deployable turret, which is going to auto-target your enemies, dealing damage to enemies that you may not even be engaged with. And its main purpose is going to be dealing damage to multiple enemies at the same time. Even if you're not engaged with that enemy, it can be dealing damage to them in the meantime. Now, the Trooper is your explosives expert. That's where this guy's really gonna shine. But even if you decide that you are not going to use the active abilities, there are a lot of just straight passives that give this really good function, like giving you extra damage with firearms. The Trooper is also really good for traversal. You get the Shigawire Claw, which allows you to essentially use a grappling hook, and then a lot of the passives for this also benefit you with the different suspensor belts that you can find in Arrakis. Bottom line, the Trooper brings a ton of utility, and it actually brings some style as well. You can unlock passives that give you additional damage while you're using your suspensor belt. Last but certainly not least, we need to talk about the Bene Gesserit. Now, this is your crowd control class, and it's also going to give you an absolute ton of health. This guy focuses on shutting down enemies and then allowing you to cause damage to them where they're just waiting for it. They're just going to stand there and take it, or they're not going to pay attention to you at all. It's great at creating gaps in defenses or creating windows of opportunity for you to deal damage. There's also a teleportation ability that allows you to get behind the enemy character. So this is a really fun class, and its passives are all about giving you more health and doing more damage with those short blades. For the most part, it doesn't matter which class you pick at the start, you will be able to learn all the classes in the game. However, there are some that are definitely going to be harder to get to than others. My personal favorites to start out are going to be Swordmaster first, and then the Bene Gesserit right after that, because of their play styles. I really enjoy the Trooper as well. I think it's very important to have Trooper unlocked, but the fact that you can unlock it so early on in game makes me want to tell you not to start as a Trooper. By far, my favorite is definitely the Swordmaster. It gives me the most enjoyment when playing. It fits my playstyle and it is super fast paced. Sure, it lacks the ability to deal with multiple targets, but really you're going to get that ability right off the bat when you unlock Trooper, so you're not really missing out on anything. At the end of the day, my suggestion is to pick whatever you feel like picking and learn everything else along your journey. During my journey through the preview, I only engaged in PvE content. Not that I didn't go to PvP areas, there just didn't happen to be anybody else there when I was in those areas. Combat gets the job done. It probably still needs some polish and refinement, but overall it is pretty fun and engaging. I spent a lot of time doing the different quests that were available in the game and searching for Imperial blueprints to craft legendary items. The progression systems that are built into the game, as well as the building system, all seem to be pretty well balanced. It doesn't take too long, but it's also not too quick. At the end of the day, if you wanted a rating for my journey through the preview event, I would give it a rating of 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed what was there to explore and what I actually was able to see and accomplish. And I will be uploading other videos diving deeper into the preview event so you can see more of the systems and more of what's there in Dune Awakening. Now, if you want to jump into Dune yourself and see what it's all about, on May 9th, they'll start an open preview event on their Steam. So you can go download the game and play exactly what I was able to play during that weekend. I will live stream a bunch that weekend so that you can get an active look at what is in the preview event, as well as answer any questions that I can from the preview event. And if you want to come and play along with me, I'll have a guild put together over on my Discord, so join the Discord so that you can be part of the community run when that beta weekend happens. And I want to know in the comment section below, what are you most excited for in Dune Awakening? I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for your continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. Don't be out of whack, there's another video on the screen right now that you can watch to support more of my content.